Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos, and I'm going to start this project off with this 5x5 piece of unfinished wood that I got at Michael's for $1. I'm going to paint around all of the edges, and I painted the back, and I left the center on the front without any paint. Once I had that all painted, I'm going to take these 4 different size wooden circles that I had, and I just had these on hand. I'm not even sure where I got them, and I'm going to paint all of these white also. And all 4 of these circles are different sizes, going from small to large. And I'm going to paint all of those white. Once I have all of that painted, I am going to take my scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby with snowflakes on it. I'm going to flip my sign over, trace it out, then cut it out, and then I'm going to Mod Podge that scrapbook paper right onto the front of this sign. And this scrapbook paper is sort of like a rustic snowflakes, and I think they're really cute, and it's going to go perfectly with this project. So once I have that all cut out, I'm going to Mod Podge that right on, make sure that that fits before I do. Add a good coat of Mod Podge, and then lay that paper down. And I just smooth it out with my hands. Once that is all done, I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. Once it was dry, I sanded off the edges. And then I am going to take my little circles and I'm going to start painting my snowman faces on them. So for this one, I just used the back of a paintbrush and did 2 eyes. I dipped them in the back of the paintbrush right into some black paint, added his eyes. Then I'm going to use a little bit of rosy, like pinkish reddish color for his cheeks. Just kind of dab that on. I'm going to take another paintbrush and do a nice line for his mouth. I did a line at the top, and then I'm going to repeat the same process on the other side and make sure that connects in the middle. And then I'm going to give him a little nose. I just took some burnt orange paint with a tiny brush and just kind of made like a carrot shape. Just kind of drag the paint out, and there's one snowman. The next snowman, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to make all of these snowmen look different because we're going to paint all of these circles as snowmen. So again, I'm just using the back of a paintbrush to add his eyes, then add the pink for the cheeks. Then I'm going to use the back of a paintbrush again to do his mouth, and I'm just going to do some dots. And then once those were all done, I am going to add some orange for his nose. And again, I'm just going to kind of make these all a little bit different, not too different. So this one, I'm just going to kind of drag his nose in a downward position. I kind of like put it through the dots on his mouth and made it kind of long. And then for this one, I decided to add some eyebrows. I didn't on the first one, and I'm going to go back and add those. So I just did 2 little lines for that on that one. And then I did 2 lines for this on this one also. Now set that aside. I'm going to work on my next one. Again, I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in some black paint. And this one kind of had a point, so I had to kind of go around in a circle because it didn't hold paint as well as the other ones. Again, some more pink for the cheeks. And I'm going to do a line for this one's mouth also. And I just use a really thin lined paintbrush. First, I'm going to add the nose, and I did it going the other direction this time. And now I'm just going to kind of add like a squiggly line for this one's mouth. And like I said, I wanted them all like a little bit different, but not too different. You know, because I want them to be sort of the way that they should be. I ended up doing his eyebrows like that, but I thought it made him look angry, so I ended up changing him. Next, the final one is the big one. And again, I'm just using the back of a paintbrush to do the dots. For the eyes, you could use a stylus, you know, whatever you have, or if you have a good freehand, you could just freehand the eyes. Again, adding some pink for the cheeks. And I also added eyebrows for this one. I'm going to kind of fix his eyes a little bit before I add the pink for the cheeks. Nice rosy cheeks, and how cute is that? And then I am going to do the same dots for the mouth. Again, just using the back of a paintbrush. It seems to be the best way. It makes great circles, and it's something you're already using anyway. And then I'm going to add a nice long nose for this one, and just kind of fill it in as I go. And then bring out that tail of the nose to a point a little bit, making sure that it's all filled in. And how cute are these? Next, I'm going to take all of them once they were dry. It takes a bit to dry with the thick paint on the eyes and the mouths. I'm going to take some antique wax and just go around the edges of each of the snowmen. I just used a very small amount just going around. I kind of just spun it in my hand, did around the edges, making sure that I got it. But I didn't do across the whole face. I didn't want them to be totally antiqued. I just wanted the edges to kind of match the scrapbook paper. And again, I did the same thing on the sign. Just kind of go around, getting the edges and the sides of the sign. I didn't want this to be a totally rustic project. It's more like a mixed media. I just wanted it to have a little bit of an aged look. And these applicators are perfect for this. So there's that all done. And all my little snowman heads all aged to perfection. Next, I'm going to start gluing them on. So I started with the big one. I'm going to glue that in the top left-hand corner. Then the mid-sized one. I'm going to add that diagonally underneath that one. Then the, I guess I'll say small-sized one. I'm going to add that right on top of those other two. Then I'm going to add the teeny one right at the other side. And I just added a little dabs of glue on either side of those and then pop that down. As you can see, they all kind of are cohesive, but they all look different also. Next, I'm going to take this little chipboard saying that says one of a kind. I'm going to add that to the bottom. Then I had a couple of rusty snowflakes, and I'm going to add one to right above that little sign that I just put on. And then I'm going to add another one up at the top right-hand corner. But it was really dark, so I decided to take some white paint and add it to the top of the rust to give it an even more rustic look. And then I'm going to glue that to the top right-hand corner. Just a little dab of glue and pop that right there. And how stinking cute is this? I absolutely love the way that this turned out. I did end up adding a couple of dots to two of the snowman's eyes. And now I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I loaded it up with white paint and I'm just going to speckle that all over the top of the whole project. I didn't overdo it, but I definitely wanted it to look like it was snowing. So I just added it all around. Not going overboard. You only want a slight amount of paint on your paintbrush and then use your finger to spread it across. And the best way to do that is with a toothbrush. And I think this just turned out so stinking cute. How adorable is this? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it inspires you to make one. And as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.